What's up, y'all? This your man DeSean BBN, and welcome to my podcast. Today, I got a good one for you. The NBA season is 2 days away, y'all. 2 days. So, this is going to be a special NBA related podcast. But before I jump into the NBA, I just want to say good job, Titans. We got that win today against the Los Angeles Chargers. We beat them 23-20. Now, with that win, we now move to 3-4. But our season's not completely over with yet, but if this is it for Marcus Mariota, I mean, we need to find a franchise quarterback. Now, don't get me wrong, I ain't got nothing against Ryan Tannehill, but Ryan Tannehill is not the answer. I mean, he's a good short-term solution. He did what he had to do. He went in there, only threw an interception. He threw 2 touchdown passes. He completed a good percentage of his passes. We did what we had to do to get the win today, but Ryan Tannehill is not going to be a good long-term solution at quarterback. So if this is it for Marcus Mariota, I just want to say I hope Marcus goes on to a new team somewhere where they will coach him up and turn him into the good quarterback I know he can be. Now, I hate to give up on him, but it's just not working out in Tennessee. I don't know if it's because of Marcus. I don't know if it's because of our coaching staff. I don't know what it is, but it's just not working out with Mariota. So if this is his last time being in a Titans uniform, hopefully he goes on somewhere else, somewhere that will utilize him to his full capabilities. Now, 3-4, we're still got some ground to cover. Now, we're not completely dead. We can still make the playoffs, but it's going to take a great team effort from everybody, from Tannehill, our offensive line, our defense. We can do this. We just gotta get better. Yeah, wasn't such a great weekend for Kentucky though. I mean, we lost to Georgia 21-0, which is not too surprising, but we need a quarterback, a healthy quarterback. We need Sawyer Smith back, which, I mean, yes, he hasn't been spectacular by any means, but we need somebody who can move the ball down the field. I mean, there's only so much Lynn Bowden Jr. can do. I mean, he's not Randall Cobb 2.0, even though I want him to be, he's just not. I mean, he's at his best being a receiver / running back / return man. Like, you're not going to win a football game completing only 4 passes the whole game. I think that's what we did. I mean, it was horrible. We didn't throw any interceptions, but we didn't throw any touchdowns. We didn't even have 100 yards through the air. That's horrible. You're not going to beat anybody in college football throwing under 100 yards. I don't care who it is. I mean, it could be the worst team in college football, whoever that might be. You ain't gonna win if the quarterbacks aren't throwing at least 200-300 yards. Like, it's just not gonna happen. I mean, especially against a good team like Georgia. Like, I'm not disappointed that we lost, but we could have kept it closer. We could have played better. Now, our season's not completely over with. We're 3-4. Hopefully, they won't completely give up. I was hoping for another 10-3 season, but that's not going to happen. So, at this point, I'd just be happy if we go 7-5 and win a bowl game. Because, I mean, the rest of our schedule, it ain't too tough, but we're not going to beat the remaining teams left if we can't move the ball through the air. Like, I don't know what it is about this team. Like, we've got the talent, but our play calling is predictable. It's boring. Like, what the hell is Eddie Gran thinking? Like, oftentimes I just wonder, what the hell is Eddie Gran doing? Because he's supposed to be this great offensive genius, but our offense can't do jack against anyone that's above average. I mean, like I said, I wasn't expecting Kentucky to beat Georgia, but we could have put up a better effort than that. I mean, we could have at least thrown for 200 yards through the air, but we couldn't. Like, I don't know what it is. We just played like crap. Now, the rest of our schedule, we've got Missouri, we've got Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Louisville, and I believe Tennessee Martin. So hopefully we can win we win the remaining of those games so we can go 8-4 and get to a decent bowl game. But, I mean, on the bright side, Terry Wilson will be healthy next year and possibly win 9-10 games again next year. But this year, I mean, I just hope we can go on to 7-5. Now, switching gears. as promised, this is going to be an NBA related podcast. We're 2 days away from the NBA season kicking off. It's going to be a good one. We got the Lakers and Clippers on Tuesday night on TNT. Yep, I expect a good game, a close, tight battle between the Clippers and Lakers. Now, if you're wondering, my favorite NBA team is the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I really don't care about the Lakers. I don't like them, but they do have Anthony Davis, who's a former Kentucky Wildcat. So even though he is wearing the purple and gold, I do want to see AD do well. Hopefully, he can win a championship in LA, even though it pains me to say that. I mean, if Dallas is not going to win the championship, I guess I could cheer for AD and hope he wins a championship. So now today I'm gonna do the top 10 point guards in the NBA. Now, before I jump into this countdown, I just want to tell you guys one thing. This is my opinion. This is DeSean Hughes' opinion. This isn't ESPN. I'm not saying my opinion is 100% factual, because it's not. I'm not saying this is the holy grail of basketball opinions. This is just mine. You're free to agree with it, disagree with it, whatever. But this is my opinion, and these are the top 10 point guards in the NBA. Now, before I start the top 10, I'm going to do some honorable mentions. Now, my personal opinion, if you're going to do a top list, you got to have honorable mentions. I mean, because there's always guys that are going to be left out. So you want to acknowledge the guys who are right on the edge, but just not quite there, whether it's your top 20, 25, 15, whatever it might be. So my first honorable mention for the top point guards in the NBA is Kyle Lowry. Yep, Kyle Lowry of the Toronto Raptors. Now, Lowry is starting to get up there in age. He's, I believe, 31, maybe 32. He had a reputation throughout social media for being a playoff choker because Kyle Lowry, I mean, if you don't follow Toronto basketball or you just don't care about Toronto, I mean, he does great in the regular season. But when the postseason comes, he disappears. It's like, what the hell, Kyle? Regular season, you did great, but now you act like you don't know how to play basketball. What the hell's going on? Yeah, that's been his reputation for the past few years, but this past year he changed that reputation. He helped Toronto win the NBA Finals. Now, of course, Kawhi Leonard was the man that led the way, but Kyle Lowry, he helped. Now, there were some times where Kyle Lowry disappeared, and you wondered, what's going on, Kyle? You choking again? But whenever they needed him the most, he came through, especially in Game 6. He scored 26 points, and he made some big plays whenever they needed him. He made some defensive stops. He hit big shots. Kyle Lowry was money in Game 6. And had he not played so well, Toronto, it might have went to Game 7, and who knows what would have happened. But anyways, Kyle Lowry is my first honorable mention. Now, a couple of years ago, he would have been top 10, but Kyle Lowry is starting to decline. Is he still a good point guard? Yes, but he's not going to be the point guard he was a couple of years ago when he averaged about 20 points, 7 assists, and about 4 or 5 rebounds. Last year, I believe he averaged 15 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Not spectacular numbers, but it was enough for Toronto. He did make it to the All-Star game last year, but I'm not sure if he'll make it this year. I mean, like I said, he is getting older. I believe he's 32 now, maybe 33, but I still think he's got a little bit of gas left in the tank. How much gas? I don't know. But, yeah, Kyle Lowry, my first honorable mention. Now, my second honorable mention is Eric Bledsoe, former Kentucky Wildcat. Yeah. Point guard for the Milwaukee Bucks. Eric, last year, made it to the All-NBA defensive team. First time in his career. I mean, he's always been, in my opinion, he's always been a good point guard, but yeah, he's always been overshadowed because he's played on bad teams. I mean, he started with the Clippers when they were still rebuilding. Now, towards the end of his tenure with the Clippers, they actually were good. Then they traded him to the Suns, where he played for a few years, and then the Suns traded him to the Bucks. Now, Eric, yeah, he's been pulling off his best impression of Kyle Lowry these last couple of years in Milwaukee. He does good for them in the regular season, but when the postseason comes around, yeah, he's been choking. He's been a no-show, which pains me to say because although I am a Dallas Mavericks fan, I like to see all the Kentucky Wildcats to do well. I support all of them, no matter what team they play for. So yeah, it sucks seeing Eric choke in the playoffs, but what can you do? Still, he's one of the honorable mentions. I mean, if this was a top 20 list, Eric Bledsoe would be on it for sure. My next honorable mention is yet another former Kentucky Wildcat, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai made the all-rookie second team last year playing for the Clippers. His numbers weren't great. I mean, he averaged 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, which is not eye-popping, but decent numbers for a rookie point guard. He also shot 47% from the field and 38% from the three-point line, which is good shooting numbers. Well, it'd be great if I could say Shai's going to do great things in LA, but he's not there anymore. They traded him to the Thunder to get Paul George. Now, Oklahoma City probably, actually more than likely, is not going to make the playoffs, but I think Shai will have a big year next year. I think his scoring will go up, his assists will go up. Not sure if his shooting percentages will remain the same or if they'll go down a little bit, but Oklahoma City is going to be a rebuilding team, so they're going to see what they got in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So they'll probably give him a lot of freedom to make mistakes, give him more shot opportunities, so on and so on. Shai, like I said, he made the All-NBA second team for rookies. And I think now he might not be the best point guard in the NBA by the time he hits his prime, but if he continues to, I think he's definitely a future all-star in the making. I mean, good defensive player. He's long, athletic, solid on the offensive side of the ball. Shai, he's going to be good. Just watch. Now, my next honorable mention is Derrick Rose. Now, I gotta say, I love Derrick Rose. I'm glad to see that he can still play. Now, he only played 50 games last year. He missed some games due to injuries. But when he was healthy, Derrick played great. He averaged about 18 points, 4 assists. He shot 48% from the field, 38% from the three-point line. Great shooting percentages. Derrick now is in Detroit. Hopefully, he can still shoot at a high rate like he did last year. Hopefully, he can still keep this up on a higher volume of shots. Hopefully, he can help Detroit make another run to the playoffs. I'm rooting for you, Derrick. I hope you go out there and do great things, man. My next honorable mention is Colin Sexton. He was also a rookie last year. He made the all-rookie second team. I believe he was the Cavaliers' leading scorer. I'm not for sure, but I gotta say, Colin Sexton proved me wrong. I really didn't expect much from him as a rookie, but he went out there, did some great things. I think he averaged about 18 points per game and shot 38% from the three-point line. But, I mean, I probably shouldn't have doubted him because I remember his freshman year at Alabama, they had to play with only 3 players because players fouled out. I think some players got ejected, and he scored 40 points in that game despite Alabama being completely outmanned. 5 against 3, like, couldn't imagine having to go 5 against 3 in a college basketball game. It's crazy. Now for my last honorable mention, Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie is the point guard for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, yes, he is a backup point guard, but he's a damn good backup point guard. He was a finalist for Sixth Man of the Year. Lou Williams ended up winning, but Spencer Dinwiddie is a pretty good backup point guard himself. He averaged 16 points per game. He had 14 20-point games coming off the bench, which was a Brooklyn Nets franchise record. And he also scored a career-high 37 points last year. Spencer Dinwiddie, yeah, honestly, Spencer Dinwiddie could start for some NBA teams. I mean, obviously not Brooklyn because they got Kyrie Irving now. And last year they had D'Angelo Russell. But Dinwiddie, you put him on another team that don't have a point guard, yeah, he could definitely start. I mean, he can score, solid shooter, solid on the defensive end. I mean, he's kind of a jack of all trades because he can do a little bit of everything, but he's not great at any particular one thing. Well, I guess you could say he's a great scorer given that he comes off the bench. But yeah, Dinwiddie, if he wasn't playing for Brooklyn, yeah, he'd definitely be a starter. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that don't have a starting point guard, and you put Dinwiddie on that team, they would have an upgrade at the point guard position. Like Orlando, they could use Dinwiddie. Maybe the Miami Heat. Maybe No, not New Orleans Pelicans. They got Lonzo Ball now. But yeah, there's quite a few teams out there that could use a point guard. All right. Now that the honorable mentions are out of the way, I'm going to go into the top 10. Number 10, Mike Conley. Mike Conley spent most of his career with the Memphis Grizzlies. Now he's playing in Utah. He was traded to the Jazz during this offseason for Kyle Korver, Grayson Allen, and I think some draft picks. I don't know. But Mike Conley had a career year last year coming off an Achilles injury. He averaged 21 points per game, which is, for him, that's a career high. Yeah, I know 21 points is not spectacular, but coming off an Achilles injury, that's pretty good. Yes, Mike Conley, I mean, he is getting older, but he can still play. I mean, now, now he's no longer in Memphis, and now he can compete in the playoffs again. I mean, Memphis did have that run where they made it to the playoffs like 5, 6 years in a row, but I mean, it's been a few years since Memphis made it to the playoffs, but it's not necessarily Mike Conley's fault. But now he's in Utah, playing on a much better team with a better supporting cast, better coach, and they've got a star in the making in Donovan Mitchell. Now, I don't think Utah has enough to beat the Lakers or the Clippers or the Nuggets, but Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell will make Utah an interesting team to watch. They'll be competitive. They might even make it to the Western Conference Finals. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But Mike Conley is number 10. Number 9, Trae Young. Trae Young was a finalist for Rookie of the Year. My man Luka Doncic won Rookie of the Year, but if Luka wasn't so good, or if Luka wasn't in this rookie class, Trae would have won Rookie of the Year. Last year with the Hawks, he averaged 19 points. He averaged 8 assists. He played in the Rookie or Rising Stars Challenge. It's not the rookie sophomore game anymore. Now they call it the Rising Stars Challenge. Trae, yeah, he struggled first half of the year, but second half of the year he played great. He showed flashes of brilliance throughout the whole season. He even scored a career high 49 points, but they lost that game. Now, Atlanta, they improved with Trae Young. Now, was it a big improvement? No. They went from 24 wins to 29 games to 29 wins, but that's still something. I mean, a small improvement is better than no improvement at all. Trae Young comes in at number 9. Number 8, I got De'Aaron Fox, yet another Kentucky Wildcat. De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings. Now, I gotta admit, De'Aaron Fox was mediocre at best during his rookie year. He averaged 12 points, 4 assists, on 40% shooting, 30% shooting from the three-point line, which is not spectacular, but he showed flashes of brilliance. Second year, though, big improvement. He went from 12 points to 17 points, 4 assists to 7 assists. He went from 40% from the field to 46% from the field. He went from 30% shooting from the three-point line to 36% shooting from the three-point line. De'Aaron Fox is legit. Like, Lakers probably should have taken him number 2 overall instead of Lonzo Ball. But, I mean, even if they did, I guess it wouldn't have mattered because they likely would have just traded him to New Orleans like they did Lonzo Ball. But De'Aaron's the real deal. I mean, to me, if he continues to improve defensively, hell, he'll be like John Wall, but with a much better jump shot. Because De'Aaron is probably, yeah, I'd say the only point guard in the NBA that's more athletic than De'Aaron Fox is Russell Westbrook. His speed, his elusiveness, his leaping ability, it's crazy. It's off the charts. Like, De'Aaron Fox, he's a fun player to watch. And Sacramento's going to be a fun team to watch next year. I hope De'Aaron does well, except when they play against my Mavericks. I hope he struggles. But, yeah, De'Aaron is legit. By the time he hits his prime, we might be talking about him being the best point guard in the game. Because now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving. Yeah, they're great, but they're getting up there in age. They're not going to be in their prime forever, guys. Don't forget that. All right, so number 7 for best point guards. Yet another Kentucky Wildcat, Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray, there is a player who has improved every year he's been in the league. Rookie year, he was kind of mediocre, just like De'Aaron Fox, but he showed flashes of brilliance. He improved in his second year, showed even more flash of brilliance. And then last year, Jamal Murray had the best year of his career so far. He averaged 18 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Now, there are some things Jamal Murray needs to work on. He needs to get better as a playmaker. He needs to improve as a defensive player. But as far as shooting and scoring goes, oh yeah, Jamal Murray, there's a lot to like about him. Like, he doesn't really have too many problem areas besides his shooting, besides his defense, excuse me, and playmaking. He's a great shooter, good scorer. He can score with the ball in his hands, without the ball in his hands. He can play both guard positions. He scored a career high 48 points against the Celtics last year, and he also scored a playoff career high of 34 points last year. Now, it was the first time Denver had been in the playoffs in years, but Jamal Murray was money in the playoffs for Denver. Anytime they needed a big shot, a big play, Jamal Murray came through. Now, yes, Denver is Nikola Jokic's team. I'm not saying Jamal Murray is the best player on the team, but he's without a doubt the second best player on the team, and he takes a lot of pressure off of Jokic. Now, if he continues to improve, which I believe he will, Nuggets are going to be real dangerous. I mean, they'll give the Lakers and the Clippers a run for their money. Number 6 for best point guards, Ben Simmons. Now, if Ben Simmons could shoot, he'd arguably be the best point guard in the game. Now, honestly, though, I mean, to be fair, he's more of a point forward. He's not a true, pure point guard. He's 6'10". He weighs about 230, I would say, at the least. I mean, Ben Simmons is he's pretty much a point guard trapped in a small forward's body. Ben, he rebounds the ball pretty well. He's a great defender. He's a great playmaker, a good finisher. But yeah, the one thing that he struggles with is his shooting. Now, if Ben can become a good shooter, the NBA is going to be in trouble. But because he can't shoot, I got him at number 6. Now, for the top 5. Number 5, Kemba Walker of the Boston Celtics. Now, for the first time in his career, he'll be playing for a good team, a team that has some expectations. Charlotte, yeah, my honest opinion, I think the Charlotte Hornets are going to be the worst team in the NBA next year. And now Kemba is playing on a much better Celtics team. Now, as good as Kemba is, I don't think the Celtics are going to be able to win the East. Like, Boston just doesn't have enough. Yes, Boston, he's got more help in Boston than he ever had in Charlotte, but Boston just doesn't have enough to beat the likes of Brooklyn when they're healthy, or Philadelphia, or Milwaukee. But you can believe that Kemba Walker, he's going to be great for Boston. I think he'll average about 22 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, about a steal, maybe 2 steals per game. He'll lead Boston to about 45 to 50 wins. He'll have a great year. He'll make it to the All-Star game with Boston. Now, number 4, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie is now a member of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I ain't gonna lie, wasn't always the biggest fan of Kyrie Irving. I always thought he was great, but there's just something about him. Like, as an individual player, Kyrie Irving is great, but I'm not so certain that he's the best leader. I mean, when he was in Cleveland, they really didn't accomplish much until LeBron came to help him. Then he goes to Boston. They played better without him. They made it to the They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie Irving and got beat in 7 games. They almost got to the finals with Kyrie Irving injured. So then Irving was healthy last year, and Boston gets beat in the second round against the Bucks in 5 games. I mean, Kyrie Irving, he is a great point guard. Don't get me wrong, but his performance against the Bucks was horrible. I think in Game 5, he went like 6 of 21 from the field, which is horrible. I mean, this is do or die, win or go home, and you completely laid an egg and went 6 of 21 from the field. But despite that, Kyrie Irving is still a top 5 point guard. I mean, he's one of the best scorers at the point guard position. He's a great shooter. He's got the best handles of all current players in the NBA. Hell, he might have the best handles ever. I don't know. But as far as current players goes, oh, definitely. Kyrie Irving got the best handles. Number 3, Russell Westbrook. Last year, Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for the 3rd year in a row. But Oklahoma City got beat in the first round of the playoffs again. But it certainly wasn't Westbrook's fault. Now, you can say whatever the hell you want about Westbrook. Oh, he turns the ball over too much. He steals rebounds from his teammates, so on and so on. But one thing that you can't take away from Westbrook is he plays hard. Every game, no matter what, he's going to give you 110%. It don't matter if they're playing the Warriors, Lakers, the Orlando Magic, the Knicks, whatever. Westbrook's going to give you 100% every game. Number 2 for the best point guards, Damian Lillard. Now, Lillard, great scorer, great shooter. He's a leader, makes others around him better. He is the number 2 point guard in the NBA. He comes through in the clutch. He's money in the regular season. Portland, now, I've been hearing rumors during the offseason that Portland may try to trade for Kevin Love, which, I mean, if they do that, might help them. Now, don't know if Kevin Love would push them over the top, over the Lakers or Clippers, but yeah, Portland for sure would have a 3rd star to help, a 3rd star on their team. Damian Lillard is a star. CJ McCollum, although he's never made it to the All-Star game, I consider him a star. You add Kevin Love to the mix, man, Portland would be even more dangerous on the offensive side of the ball. Now, for Lillard, the only bad thing I can say about him, he's not the best defensive player, but that is an area that he has worked on. Now, will he ever be a 2-way point guard? Probably not, but Damian Lillard is the best point guard in the game. Now, number 1, if you haven't guessed, is Stephen Curry. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Curry, to be honest. Like, this dude he just throws anything up and it goes in. I'm like, what in the hell? How does he just make all these ridiculous shots? Like, Curry will be triple teamed. He just throws a Hail Mary and it somehow goes in. Like, it's so irritating, but there's nothing you can do to stop him. Like, Curry, he's the best scoring point guard. He's the best shooting point guard, not just into the NBA today, but of all time. He's also a pretty good playmaker. I mean, and he's a leader. I think Curry will be in the MVP conversation this year. Now, will he win it? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But he's definitely going to be in the conversation. And he'll probably be the league leader in scoring because KD's not there anymore. Klay Thompson's injured. He won't be back until after the All-Star break. D'Angelo Russell, I mean, he's good, but can be a bit inconsistent. I mean, the only other, and then you got Draymond Green, who great on the defensive end, but sometimes can be a liability on offense. So Curry's going to have a lot of big games scoring wise. Now, the only bad thing I can say about Curry, he's an average defensive player at best, and sometimes he folds under pressure when the going gets tough. Like in Game 6 of the Finals, Curry went 1 of 6 from the field when Klay Thompson left the game. All right, y'all, so there y'all have it. That's the top 10 point guards in the NBA. Next time y'all see me, I'll give y'all the top 10 shooting guards in the NBA. It's your man, DeSean, BBN, and I'm out.